Finally, a Disney film I can get behind.
A 1, 2, 3, 4!
And Disney does it again. Hey film lovers, welcome to Mr. T's Film Preach, and if you love movies as much as I do and learn from them as much as I do, then you are in the right place, where we talk nothing but films and preach them and love upon them, unless they're the really bad ones. So if this is your jam, if this is your gig, then click like down below and subscribe. That would be amazing as we are trying to move into this new season of films. I'm so excited to talk about this Disney film. We are talking about Raya and the Last Dragon. This is the new animated Disney film about Raya, who lives in a world of Kumandra, where all the clans of the world are separated because they are all fighting over this dragon jewel and trying to claim their power over each other. Raya, who has been tasked with saving the jewel as a young girl, now Raya as an adult is searching through the land trying to find the last dragon, Sisu, whose myth was rumored to bring balance and harmony and peace back to humanity and bring together the clans to create a united Kumandra. It's sort of this alternate Earth, sort of dystopian, post-apocalyptic-esque world that we find ourselves in, based in Southeast Asian folklore and style and culture, and it was so beautiful. So let's talk about some of the great things I love about this film. This is probably one of my favorite Disney films that they've done in the last 10 years. The animation, of course, no questions asked, is beautiful. The way that they show the rain and the water and some of the details is just astonishing. I mean, you really do have to give them props for the amazing visuals that they're able to create on camera. The voice performances are awesome. It's so great to see Kelly Marie Tran, or I guess hear her, but see her do a great performance and take on a lead role and do such a great job of playing a Disney princess with a different take on it. And it's so great to see her after all the Star Wars, The Last Jedi stuff. It's great to see her, that Disney is still bringing her in. Gemma Chan as her nemesis, or maybe her character foil as Namaari, was really great too. Gemma Chan did an awesome job, but definitely the person who steals the show in this film is Awkwafina as Sisu. She is hilarious, she is charming, she is so down to earth and optimistic and uplifting and hopeful, but powerful at the same time, and she gives a wonderful voice performance. Really enjoyed her in this film. The action scenes are really great. The choreography in this film feels like those old-fashioned kung fu movies with a very fast pace, but yet a really electric and visceral style, especially for a Disney animated film. At times, there's actual gravitas to this film. There's actual consequences. Characters make these decisions, and there is a fallout from them, very realistically, even though this is an animated film and it's set in a magical world where there's con babies and dragons and magical things, but they actually grounded it in very real humanistic emotions and great character story, and really set it in a human world as we get to feel that from the characters of Raya and Namaari, and also with Sisu. The story was actually, I thought, really well written. I really loved the world building that they did in this film. This whole Kumandra and the the different clans was really great. I love that they built this world and there was a lot of mythology behind it and a lot of thought into the culture and the way it looked and the way that people interacted with each other. I really enjoyed the world building that these filmmakers did. Some emotional connections to these characters, and you understand them. You really sympathize with them. You get to see where they're coming from. And this movie actually does pack an emotional punch, and it's so great to see that in a Disney film without it being too sappy. The originality of this script was great. It wasn't a sequel. It wasn't based on anything else. It wasn't, like the Snow Queen for Frozen, Lion King, and that's really, Hamlet and Shakespeare, but this felt really original, and I love when people do original scripts. I am so sick of rehashing, so thank you to those writers and directors. Carlos Lopez Estrada and Dan Hall directed this movie so well. They really thought through the characters. They thought about what the story was that they wanted to tell, sort of the mythology behind it, the message that they were trying to say. And even though at times this does feel very much a 2021 message coming from this film, it still felt very appropriate. It's great to see that they're putting this out for kids to see so that they can relate and connect to. And I love that they talk about the issues of togetherness and friend and foe and enemy, and what does that mean, and people being divided and how that creates hate and malice in the world. And literally they transfer that into the movie with the druid and this like purple dark cloud that just turns people into stone. It just destroys them and turns them into stone, these statues. And so this whole idea that coming together will save us and unite us and make us powerful is a really great theme, especially for right now. And they knew what they were doing. It was a little bit of a nose, hitting directly on the nose, but still really thought it was powerful and poignant. I love that Namaari and Raya aren't exactly like enemies. They're not the hero and the villain. That they actually took a different approach with this quote-unquote villain. And they've done that very recently, especially in the last 5-6 years. They've developed these villains that they're not the traditional like and and this I thought was a really smartly written, that Namaari wasn't like this evil person, but was coming from a different perspective than what Raya was. And I love that. They did a really great job with writing that and putting that together for this story. The character development, it's not like they're a hero and villain, it's more like they're just character foils. The same side of the coin, just from a different perspective. The action is awesome. The fight scenes and choreography are so well done. And someone who has a martial arts background, I really appreciated the detail they put into the fight scenes and the movements and the weapons. And I love that they are really trying to make this visceral, and that this movie could almost be like PG-13, almost 14A if they changed like one or two things. Then I found out the director had to change a bunch of things in this story so it didn't get a rated R. That's crazy. And you can kind of see the parts in the film where you're like, I bet you if they just like, they probably had a couple of different ideas and they tweaked a few things to make sure it was like rated PG, but I could see where they were going off in that kind of darker direction. I really actually appreciated that they were willing to take some risks and do something different. To contradict myself, what I just said, a lot of this film does feel generic. It does feel very formulaic. Every hero needs to have that cute animal friend that's along with them for the ride. And in this one, it's Tuk Tuk, this rolling pill bug hamster creature who's really cute, don't get me wrong. But again, it was like, yeah, we need to have, an animal creature to be along the ride with our hero. There's going to be some sort of betrayal. It feels very much like Disney, and it threw on the Disney filter. And that's okay. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying it hits the same notes sometimes. It hits the same beats as other of their past films have. And I wish that they maybe just kind of changed it up just a little bit more. Probably the biggest thing was the humor. And I didn't find myself laughing that often, even though I was totally engaged in this story and I was in this world and I love the characters and I'm rooting for them. I just didn't find myself laughing very hard at times. You could tell, like, they're like, we need to throw in some jokes here. It's a kid's movie, don't forget that. And make them laugh. Okay, Con Baby. And this whole boss baby thing, the Con Baby, just certain silly aspects of this film almost didn't fit the much more human and darker tale that they were really trying to tell, which is the underbelly of this entire story. They just kind of threw in that humor to appease the kids. And Disney keeps on doing this. Otherwise, kids won't come see it or won't understand or won't get it. And I don't think they're giving kids enough credit. They really pandered to kids at times with the humor. And if they just made a few more smarter jokes. I know, we're in Kumandra. Balance of taking it too seriously and the comedy just didn't seem to work at times. Some of the jokes didn't land. There is so much exposition in this film they have to explain. Like, we're about halfway through the film and then they show us a clip, a 2-minute clip of like what happened with the dragons and where they were. And then a couple minutes later we go and we learn about this, and there's a flashback to this scene and what happened then. And But they have to do that because this world is so big. They need to show us and explain to us certain things. And I just felt at times it just stopped the movie for a quick second and then we kept going. Overall, this movie is so well done. Really appreciated it. I thought it was really well written, very beautiful to look at. The scenery, the fight scenes, the details that they put into their animation are top notch as always. It was a really positive film, a very uplifting film, and also a very humanistic film, which I loved so much. And I hope they keep doing that, and that it's not just always talking creatures or animals, but that they are focusing on humans and trying to tell human stories. That's the best thing that they can do. And that's probably why Raya and the Last Dragon is in my top 2, I would say, of Disney films of the last 10 years. This was a kick-ass action film that I really thought was creative and imaginative. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a Disney lover and you don't like animated films, you might want to choose this one to take a look at because I really truly think you'll have an awesome time. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and give Raya and the Last Dragon an A-. Yes, love it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you like this video, click like down below and subscribe. That would be beautiful. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. By the end of this year, that is my goal. Mwah! What did you guys think of Raya and the Last Dragon? Was it one of your favorite Disney films, or did you just think it was okay? I would love to hear your comments and your thoughts down below. Please join in the discussion. Thanks for watching Mr. Teach Film Preach, and as always, let's get taught.